and they were posted on March 26th for those interested. And then if we could get a quick motion to approve the minutes from February's SEPTA meeting, that was posted, they were up there posted on March 21st. That was from our caregiver self-care meeting. So if I could get a motion for approving the minutes.
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. I'd like to thank Melissa Sergio Craig for an awesome transportation appreciation breakfast last month. We served breakfast to how many people?
235 people.
235 people. So that's drivers, attendants, transportation staff of all over APS. And they were so grateful and appreciative. It was just an awesome event. We had, even people were writing thank you cards at the event to give us, and we got clapped out on the way out. So it was just a nice way to show how appreciative we are for all that the transportation staff does for our students. So that was a great event. Thank you to all the volunteers and to Melissa for coordinating that. I'd also like to take a minute, and I think two of the folks are not here, they're downstairs, but they're coming up. Our wonderful partners from the Parent Resource Center, Kathleen Donovan and Kelly Mountain. They were part of our Intelligent Lives Documentary Planning Committee, along with David Rosenblatt, and so I just wanted to thank them we had a great event last month as well, which was the Intelligent Lives documentary screening. For those who have not seen it, it's well worth it. I think there'll be more opportunities in our area for viewings in the future, but it's a really powerful film on the importance of inclusion and self-advocacy. So we had a great showing for that, and wonderful panelists, so we were just really grateful for everybody who participated in that. We are going to be posting, I don't think it's posted yet, is it, Allison? The Q&A from that panel?
I think it is.
Oh, okay. We look online for that. The Q&A from the panel from that should be up online on our website for that. And then, thankfully, we have a nominating committee. So again, this is a group, 3 individuals who are just going to help us identify folks who might be interested in serving on the SEPTA board next year. So that's Kelly Mountain, Kathleen Donovan, and Nadia Facey. So we're grateful for that. And that brings me to my maybe most important plea tonight. We are really looking for volunteers to help out next year for the SEPTA board. I said that I would stay on as president, but I will do that under the circumstances of having a president-elect to help kind of train along the way. This is probably the easiest year to come on as a president-elect because so many of our board members are staying on, so you have a lot of folks who really know the ropes and can help along with me show you the way. It's a really fun group of individuals, and so we're really looking for president-elect, a treasurer, and a secretary, and or a membership VP. So our current secretary is happy to stay on as secretary, or she could also be VP of membership. So if any of those roles are of interest to you, please let us know. Or if you know of somebody who might be great for the job, also let us know. And then we have some, can't believe it, we're getting close to the end of the school year here. Not too many more events from a SEPTA perspective. We have our fundraising chair will be talking in a minute about our upcoming Lebanese Taverna Spring fundraiser, which will be on April 25th. We have our award ceremony, which Caroline will be talking about in just a minute, and that is on May 6th at Washington and Lee. And then we're going to be co-sponsoring an iSTEM event with Fairfax SEPTA and the Nova District PTA. And that's going to be a neat event, K-12, where students of all abilities can come on a Saturday afternoon and do different iSTEM activities. It's a free event, so we'll have more information on the exact times and locations, but our goal is to have that on May 18th. It'll either be on the sort of eastern side of Fairfax, hopefully, or the western side of Arlington, so that families from both Fairfax and Arlington can come to that event. And then lastly, we have our end of the year SEPTA picnic, which will be at Walter Reed Community Center on June 15th. So we'll have more information about all these events coming your way. Just wanted to get those dates on your calendar. So we can go ahead and have Caroline talk about our upcoming award ceremony.
Arlington SEPTA hosts an annual event to recognize all of the wonderful people in the district who support our students. We added 3 new categories this year, so we have a total of 6 award categories. One is for a school or program. One is for a parent volunteer or community volunteer member. We have an educator award and a student award. On our student award, we realized we wanted to split that into an award for students with disabilities and an award for exceptional allies, students who are neurotypical peers or fully able peers who involve themselves greatly in the lives of their peers with disabilities. We've also created a new category for our support staff, whether they be the aides or the transportation personnel, and staff in the school that support our students. And then in honor of Annie Turner, the principal of Patrick Henry, who passed away suddenly last year, we've created an administrator award, and that can be a principal or above, even including central office. The event, there's a flyer in the back, is on Monday, May 6th. The awards will be presented by Tara Natras and Paul Jamelski, and all of the nominees are invited, and the nominating statements for each individual will be read to acknowledge and celebrate their contributions to our community, and then an award in each category. The event will take place at Washington and Lee High School in the auditorium, and refreshments will be served. Thank you. I have a list of all of the nominees I'll put on the back table if you wish to look on your way out.
This will be really quick. It's our last fundraiser for the year, and we are partnering up with Lebanese Roberta, and they will give us 20% of proceeds on the day of Thursday, April 25th, whether it's lunch or dinner. It can go to either their Westover location or the Pentagon City location, as well as that if you do any purchases online for gift cards, they'll give us proceeds of that. Just make sure you put that to 2019 or something 19 when you purchase it. Also, when you do go and you get your bills, if you're eating lunch or dinner and you have the bill, please write down SEPTA on there so they know. Because unless you do that, we will not get the proceeds from that. So, we hope you all go, enjoy, do a happy hour, especially on wheels. It's really pretty out there. Thank you guys.
Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and announce our speakers for tonight. Ms. Gina Rocco and Heather Davis, they're McKinley School Counselors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We're really happy to be here and talk with you about something that we both have a lot of interest in. We are not experts in this, but we are interested in it. We know a lot of you know quite a bit about this. We hope that our presentation tonight will be interactive. We'd love for you to chime in, comments, questions at any time throughout. We hope that we can really be learning from each other tonight. And I'm Gina Rocco. I'm the school counselor at McKinley. I was at Randolph for about 12 years and McKinley now for 7. I grew up in Arlington, and I went to actually Reed. And as a counselor, I have interest in small groups, something that really I dig. I also enjoy, I'm really learning about arts integration and integrating the arts into some of the counseling work that I'm doing. I'm also very passionate about interrupting child abuse, particularly sexual abuse. And any of you who have elementary students will be, getting a child protection unit from your elementary school counselor. And there was one more. Also, learning about how to support transgender students is something that I need to learn about and something that I'm passionate about learning about.
I'm Heather Davis. I've been at McKinley 2 years now. I'm fortunate to work with such an experienced
We're like a power team, man.
counterpart. I truthfully have had to really dig into how to support students with anxiety the past 2 years because it's a huge issue at McKinley. I'm sure many of you know that's an issue in the community. So really learning how to support students during the day who struggle with anxiety. Also, growth mindset and mindfulness as well, incorporating that into lessons I really enjoy, and also supporting a safe and kind of inclusive school community for all students. I'm curious, before we start, if we could get a little show of hands who are high school parents? middle school parents, and then elementary parents. Okay, so nice mixture of everybody. So apologize in advance if the material is geared towards the lower students, that's who we work with, but hopefully high school, middle school parents, you can find something that will be helpful as well. Gotta do this one.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Here's the plan for tonight. We are going to talk with you a little bit about the mother of, or the founder of Growth Mindset, Carol Dweck. We're going to watch a TED Talk, or part of a TED Talk. She's the one that came up with Growth Mindset. We're going to talk to you about growth mindset versus fixed mindset and compare them to each other. We're going to talk to you about building a growth mindset in children, how both we do it in schools and how you can do it at home, and also some common misunderstandings. I know when I first learned about mindset, I was getting it confused with mindfulness and, what is this and how deeply do I understand it. So hopefully this will clear up some common misunderstandings about about growth mindset. And then we're going to share with you some resources at the end that we hope will be helpful to you. Books, other websites, things like that. So here's Carol Dweck. She is a Stanford University psychologist. She specializes in achievement and success. And she wrote Mindset, the New Psychology of Success in 2006. And her work is really evidence-based, and she'll talk to you about it, and it's really taken off as a powerful tool in helping kids.
The power of yet. I heard about a high school in Chicago where students had to pass a certain number of courses to graduate, and if they didn't pass a course, they got the grade not yet. And I thought that was fantastic, because if you get a failing grade, you think, I'm nothing, I'm nowhere. But if you get the grade not yet, you understand that you're on a learning curve. It gives you a path into the future. Not yet also gave me insight into a critical event early in my career, a real turning point. I wanted to see how children coped with challenge and difficulty. So I gave 10-year-olds problems that were slightly too hard for them. Some of them reacted in a shockingly positive way. They said things like, I love a challenge, or, I was hoping this would be informative. They understood that their abilities could be developed. They had what I call a growth mindset. But other students felt it was tragic, catastrophic. From their more fixed mindset perspective, their intelligence had been up for judgment, and they failed. Instead of luxuriating in the power of yet, they were gripped in the tyranny of now. So what do they do next? I'll tell you what they do next. In one study, they told us they would probably cheat the next time instead of studying more if they failed a test. In another study, after a failure, they looked for someone who did worse than they did so they could feel really good about themselves. And in study after study, they have run from difficulty. Scientists measured the electrical activity from the brain as students confronted an error. On the left, you see the fixed mindset students. There's hardly any activity. They run from the error. They don't engage with it. But on the right, you have the students with the growth mindset, the idea that abilities can be developed. They engage deeply. Their brain is on fire with yet. They engage deeply. They process the error. They learn from it, and they correct it. How are we raising our children? Are we raising them for now instead Are we raising kids who are obsessed with getting A's? Are we raising kids who don't know how to dream big dreams? Their biggest goal is getting the next A, oops, or the next test score? And are they carrying this need for constant validation with them into their future lives? Maybe because employers are coming to me and saying, we have already raised a generation of young workers who can't get through the day without an award. So, what can we do? How can we build that bridge to yet? Here are some things we can do. First of all, we can praise wisely. Not praising intelligence or talent, that has failed. Don't do that anymore, but praising the process that kids engage in. Their effort, their strategies, their focus, their perseverance, their improvement. This process praise creates kids who are hardy and resilient. There are other ways to reward yet. We recently teamed up with game scientists from the University of Washington to create a new online math game that rewarded yet. In this game, students were rewarded for effort, strategy, and progress. The usual math game rewards you for getting answers right now, but this game rewarded process. And we got more effort, more strategies, more engagement over longer periods of time, and more perseverance when they hit really, really hard problems. Just the words yet or not yet, we're finding, give kids greater confidence. Give them a path into the future that creates greater persistence. And we can actually change students' mindsets. In one study, we taught them that every time they push out of their comfort zone to learn something new and difficult, the neurons in their brain can form new, stronger connections, and over time, they can get smarter. Look what happened. In this study, students who were not taught this growth mindset continued to show declining grades over this difficult school transition. But those who were taught this lesson showed a sharp rebound in their grades. We have shown this now, this kind of improvement, with thousands and thousands of kids, especially struggling students. So let's talk about.
We're gonna stop it there. Definitely recommend you continue that if you'd like. She's talked on a lot of key points that we're gonna talk about and dig into a little bit more tonight. But I want to start out with just a common misunderstanding, which is that growth mindset is about working hard. That's usually the big thing people associate it with, that it's about hard work rather than just being smart, right? And then of course, setting high expectations and being resilient and flexible. But truly, right, it's about this belief that our qualities, right, our abilities are not innate, right? We can develop these things. We can work on improving ourselves, working our muscle, the brain that is our muscle. So research has shown that specific beliefs lead people to take on challenges and work harder, work more effectively, and persevere. So it's really hard to directly change a behavior if we don't change the underlying belief about that behavior. So right, starting with what we believe about ourselves, or ourselves and what we believe about our kids, right, is really the place to start so we can help them change that idea. So for example, if I believe I'm not a great reader, then I'm not going to believe that working hard is going to help me, right? I have to first believe that I can actually improve my reading skills, right? That I can actually improve my ability, and then I will be more likely to put in the effort. So first we have to really start with our beliefs. So when we talk about growth mindset, we're really talking about it compared to a fixed mindset, right? So fixed mindset is this idea that our intelligence is static, right? I'm either good at basketball or I'm not. I'm either great at math or I'm not, right? There's one or the other, very black and white, right? And you view challenges, obstacles, right, all of these very differently depending on what your mindset is, right? So if I really believe my intelligence is fixed, I'd probably give up very easily if I don't get it on the first try, right? Especially with criticism, if I get negative feedback or criticism, I'm going to take that as a personal attack about my core, who I am, right? Whereas if I have a belief that my intelligence can be developed, my skills can be developed, right? Criticism or mistakes are learning opportunities, right? Oh, I didn't do something right. Let's figure out what I didn't do right so I can improve, right? Challenges are more easily embraced, right? Potential is more easily reached, right? If you can just keep going because you believe, right, that you can actually improve. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about yourself, and also for your child, right? About what kind of ideas run through your head every day, right, as you embrace challenges or not. One other thing about some research that's shown that, and Carol mentioned this, but I really want to reiterate it because I think it's really important, right? Students with this fixed mindset tend to cheat, look down on others, like compare themselves to other people to feel good, and run from challenges, right? So I don't think anybody wants that for their children or for themselves. So that's why it's really important to try and find, what are these negative thoughts that our students or we are having about our kids.
Good?
Okay,
Yeah?
so our first little activity, on your tables, there's a little bag. And this is a take-home for you to use with your kids. There's some statements in here, and also 2 titles, fixed mindset and growth mindset. So we'd like you to try and sort the statements as either something someone with a growth mindset would say, or is this something someone with a fixed mindset would say or think about themselves. There's only like 8 or so. Not too much work for you.
Smith had a little snafu.
Right, the cutting was a little off on some of them. If you're missing some words, just let us know. We can get you in a different bag. About a minute more.
How'd it go? Was there any of those that were tricky for you? The one Heather and I just looked at, I've done my best work. Is that the one we were looking at? Yeah.
What do you guys think about
Is this
that
really
one?
my best work?
Growth mindset.
Growth? Yeah.
Yeah, right. You hear your hopefully your teachers or to your students are constantly saying, "Is this your best work?" Right? Is this your best work?
And
Yeah.
when we're talking to kids and we're teaching this, we have one that we do with the kids that says, I am awesome at this. And everyone says, growth mindset. It's a positive statement. But that can be a fixed mindset. If you think you're awesome at something, then it devalues the effort that it might have taken or that it might take for you to be good at something. So making sure that we didn't have one in there to red herring, but it is for the kids. They always think positive statements are growth mindset, and they may not be. If you're simply saying, I'm smart at this, that's.
So one of the books that we use that I brought today to talk about this concept with kids is called Bubblegum Brain. So it's another analogy for growth and fixed mindsets. 2 main characters are a man with a bubblegum brain and a young man with a brick brain. And the bubblegum brain likes to chew on his thoughts and stretch and bend, and they love gum, so they love this analogy. And they make great mistakes, right? Their brick brain is just in a box, and things are the way they are, right? They're not going to change. I am who I am. That's it. right? Nothing negative, just very fixed mindset. And Bubblegum Brain, right, has the power of yet, right? You discover that there's this yet I can add to things to help me figure something out rather than this very finite idea about what's possible, right? And then when it comes to math, right, Bubblegum Brain is not saying I love math, it's my favorite, right? He still has a hard time with math, not that it's his favorite subject, but understands that working his brain, right, is gonna make it stronger and stretchier, right? And he's gonna need to take some time. It won't be easy and quick. It's gonna take some time, right? Rather than this really defeatist, Brick Brain attitude. Kids love this book, and in the end, Brick Brain just has a wrapper on. So Bubblegum Brain spends the rest of the book really trying to help him see, just take off this wrapper, and your brain is just like mine, kind of thing. So lots of different ways that we teach this concept to students at our school.
We thought we would share with you some ideas for some older kids. These are concepts that teachers use in our upper grades and we think would be appropriate for you and older teachers. We're just looking at that success is not easy. If you look at the iceberg picture here, here's a beautiful success. It looks all pretty up on the surface, but underneath there's dedication, hard work, good habits, disappointment, sacrifice, failure, and persistence. So making sure the kids see that. That if you're not out there making mistakes, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then fail the acronym first attempt in learning. So that we're looking at kids and helping them understand that mistakes are okay. We believe at our school too that, we've seen just a little bit of an uptick in kids who want to give up before, when things get tough. So we're really talking about that a lot as sort of a character trait, perseverance, something in McKinley that we want to instill in the kids so that they know that if you're meeting a challenge, if you're not meeting challenges in learning, then we're not doing our job because you need to be challenged. Your brain needs to be stretching.
Yeah, and we were talking about too how, social media, right, portrays these curated lifestyles, right, of just the end goal, right, whatever I achieved or this perfect life I've created, right, they're not showing the messiness it took to get there or the failures along the way. So kids don't have, they're struggling to see that things take hard work, right, that they're seeing a lot of mixed messages. So I think it's important that we're showing the reality, so
Here's the
speaking
second
of
one. Yeah. We actually use this in 4th and 5th grade when we do goal setting, and we talk with kids who are really hard on themselves. We often, in individual counseling, might use these to show them that, yes, we know you wanted this result, but this is how it actually looks dramatic.
Yeah. We also usually show some clips of famous failures videos. Has anybody ever seen these before?
There's quite a few of them on
Yes, quite a
YouTube.
few you can find on YouTube. Watch them first, of course.
Yes,
But
Eminem is definitely,
Yeah.
a little inappropriate.
Topics are hard sometimes, but it's a great way to show kids these are people they've seen, right? They're usually famous or in some way, right? Politicians or musicians or famous people. But it talks about what happened before they got there, right? And where did they fail and where did they make mistakes or who didn't believe in them or things like that. So we're just going to show you a minute of this.
Just show you a quick clip.
The universe is extremely willing to play with you if you will play with it.
I didn't know that about it.
So anyway, there's lots of them that are really interesting to watch. Kids really enjoy those too, and just a great perspective for them to have too about these people that they admire, many of them.
There's another book that my kids really like too, which is called Mistakes That
That
Worked.
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
about the
awesome.
inventions,
About all the
right?
inventions.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great book, a great book, yeah.
Totally. I bring that to second grade, and we only read a few of the mistakes, and they always say, bring that book back, we need to read more about them. Okay, so we wanted to just talk to you about one way to just begin changing mindset is the simple word yes. You heard Carol Dweck talking about that. It's really just the first step in teaching your child that effort counts more than ability. And so it encourages kids to see effort as a way to grow connections in their brains, like Carol talked about. And it shows kids that courage and resiliency and practice help all those connections get stronger. So using with your kid, when you hear them say something like the standard, I can't do this, could be a way to open the door to them thinking about that. And I couldn't resist, we'll just show a 10 or 15 seconds of the Sesame Street video that we show our kindergartners.
He's no look right.
Oh, we'll never get this. Two plus two is a boy. But I will never get it right.
You try to act like the normal scam are wrong. You try to sing, but you didn't know the whole song. You try to cook, but the food it didn't taste right. You tried to dunk, but you didn't get enough height. You didn't do it right now, but you trying, you learn now. You just didn't get it yet, but you get it soon, I bet. That's the power of a yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's the power of a yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Nick might have a Larry Bird jersey on. I think he does.
Anyway, there's lots of cool ways you can talk with your kids about
Yeah.
this.
You said there was another video that
Yeah,
you know?
if you go to YouTube and you just type in growth mindset, or go to Sesame growth mindset,
Yeah,
or
that's
Sesame
great.
Dick, other ones, there's a really good one that's another music. It's a little bit more geared toward older elementary age or maybe middle school.
Right.
That's like kind of like a rap. It's
Oh,
like,
cool.
There's some really good ones.
So we're going to take our next step in sort of working with your own kid on building a growth mindset. So we want to talk with you about praise and feedback, the ways that you can interact with your student or your child. I'm used to teachers, but so we really want you to think about the language that you're using with kids. So you're going to praise the process, the effort, the strategy, the persistence, not the ability. Research has shown that telling children that they're smart and implying that success depends on their smartness fosters a fixed mindset. So when they do experience a struggle or a failure, they conclude that they don't have the ability. So, and they might lose confidence. So our praise isn't really, effective. It's ineffective. We want you to be praising the specific behaviors that you see being used or that you observe. And we want you to link it to the outcome of what happens. So some examples of what I'm talking about are, hey, you studied more for the science test, and you got a higher grade. So you're talking about the effort and you're linking it to the outcome. I'm really glad you asked me for help. That shows me that you want to learn. Or that piece of music was really difficult. You've been practicing your clarinet for weeks, and we can hear how much you've improved. I'm glad you stuck with it, and I hope you are too. Hopefully it's not the recorder, because we know that's painful.
Okay, so we wanted to dig in a little bit more to these praise and process questions and really talk more about the message behind what you're saying when you use one or the other. So, for example, rather than that was really hard, I'm so glad it's over and you don't have to do that again, which you might.
Science fair, yeah.
Right? You're saying, like, there will always be more challenges, right? There's gonna be harder things for your child that they'll encounter. We want to make them feel like I have the tool, I can overcome the next challenge, right? So acknowledge that was really hard, right? But your effort paid off, and next time you'll be ready for another kind of challenge, right? So then you're really sharing that the child is able to overcome because of their effort, right? So really driving home that message.
Here's another example. We want to tell you, we got this from a great website called mindsetworks.com. It's in the back of your packet, so don't worry, but this was all there so you can learn more. There's a great parent link that you can just look at implementing things in your home. But this is another example of good praise versus not so great praise. That's great, you did that so quickly and easily, great job. Guilty, you know, like that's one I use with my 6-year-old. Maybe we're getting ready in the morning, or maybe we're, you know, it's really easy to just dish out that easy, positive praise, right? But something else, you know, if you say this, you know, you, like I said sort of before, you're reinforcing that effort, you know, could be seen in a negative light, and it encourages more of a fixed mindset. So instead you might say, it looks like that was easy for you, let's find something challenging so your brain can grow. And so that way, kids learn that learning should be a challenge, and if it's easy, then your brain isn't working. Oh yeah. And then finally, our third example here is if you're helping a kid with homework and they don't do it right, you say, that's not right. You don't understand this yet. What strategies can you try to understand more clearly or better? And we're saying this because it's important to be honest that your child doesn't know it yet, and explain that you believe in their ability or their capacity to figure it out. You know, something that's easy to say, and probably what you're thinking is, that's not right. Are you even paying attention in class? Or it doesn't seem like you're trying, or, you know, you're quitting. But a lot of times, some of our students have sort of a fight or flight response. The anxiety comes up in class. That might be what's preventing them from being successful in class or giving their best in class. So we wanted to kind of
so we wanted
address
to
that.
really put on our feelings counselor's hats and just really talk about emotion right now for a second when it comes to learning, because you know, at McKinley and actually at every elementary school across the county, we are teaching students about the 3 parts of their brain: the thinking brain, the feeling brain, and the memory. And we're talking about how that, like, they can't all be active at the same time. Like, if your feeling brain is like really, really loud because you're really angry, or you're really scared, or you're really embarrassed, right? You don't think that well, right? You can't make the best decisions. You can't access all that studying you did in your memory, right? So we talk about how to recognize when you're having that really strong emotion, and then how to calm it down, right? But that's a normal response. If a kid is feeling like, I'm sitting here with this fixed mindset trying to do a math problem, like, I'm so dumb, you know, like, I can't do this, I'll never do this, right? That's a really strong feeling to have when they're trying to think, right? When they're trying to solve problems, right? So they could be scared of math, right? So what we're trying to kind of help them do, and then also help you do, is that recognize if your child is really in that really heightened emotional state, and help them calm down first, right? Have them do some belly breathing with you, right? Every student is learning at kindergarten, starting in kindergarten, right? How to take some belly breaths, right? How to calm down their feeling if it's too strong, right? Star breathing is an easy one. It's 5 breaths, up and down, right? I use this almost daily with kids, right? It's really helpful, and you see them change. Something changes in their brain. So
We tell them it's connected. When you
Yeah.
slow down your breathing, and it slows down your brain.
Yeah.
And you need to, there's no use reasoning with someone who's lost it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna ask you to do a little practice. We are gonna turn some ability praise, and we're gonna ask you to talk to people around you how to turn this ability praise, these 4 examples, into some process praise.
So that's what I just handed out, and Kelly handed out. It's blank on one side. So if you want to write down, you can. If you want to just talk about it with your phone at the table, how would you change those?
But you want to get that phrase.
Oh,
Actually, yeah, give it a try.
Brainstorm about ideas.
That's right. Stretch your head.
Good job. You must be
Start second, you are good at English. Because you studied very hard. Right? Once you got an A on last time. So
Yeah,
shows
in your grade.
Yeah.
Your effort is rewarded.
So do I. I probably never hear smart. Because you started hard. You got it because you started hard. It's good.
Yeah, you got it because you got it because of your effort.
Yeah, because you, Because you make a bigger effort. You make a bigger effort.
Well, you really instead of saying you're good student, like you really stretched yourself.
Yeah. With the effort and the habit, focus on effort.
You are doing everything, like you're trying hard, you're preparing yourself. So, pays off.
Well, well prepared.
2 more minutes and then we'll
Yeah, you were well prepared.
Good job.
Maybe you can try something more challenging.
So good.
Focus on the process.
You must be as mad.
You must practice. You must practice the hard. You must practice the lie.
You can wrap up your
Easily,
conversation.
maybe we can try something hard.
Do what?
And they look like you got this really quick, so maybe we can try something.
Yeah.
Challenge your mind.
Oh.
So I don't know, it's just us, but I said to Heather, I think this is hard. I think this is
Yeah.
hard. I saw a lot of tables really looking and thinking and thoughtfully looking for answers. How might you have changed? How might you have changed? Great job. You must be smart at this. Did anyone come up with some process feedback?
Yeah. How'd you get there?
Be a risk taker.
Yeah. How'd you get there? How do you feel about that? Yeah. How'd you get there? Yeah. They have to really think about that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else? I gotta look at that one. Manila, where's our cheat sheet?
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes, please.
So, do we, like, there is no problem with saying great job, right? You can still say great job.
Oh, yeah.
And then the additional, process.
You really worked hard on that.
Oh,
Yes.
sentence afterwards.
Yes.
Because, otherwise it becomes, we're going into the
Yeah,
same
it
place.
gets
of,
too crazy.
Don't say that, say this, so then we're getting into the fixed mindset of, stop, red flag for this stuff. So.
Remember, all you want to do is sort of, praise what you observe to be, effort, perseverance. So you're going to say something like, great job, you worked really hard. I really saw you concentrating. You had your head down and focused that whole time. You stayed in your seat the whole time. Whatever it is that you might be working on with your kiddo.
Right. Yeah, you can still love them and tell them great job and give them a hug or whatever. That's, yeah, of course, please still do that. Okay, what about, see, you are good at English. You got an A on the test. Anybody? Thoughts? How would you change that one?
Your effort is rewarding.
Yeah, your effort was
It's
rewarding.
rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
You really studied,
And it showed.
and it
right?
shows.
But not just really study, right? But what was the outcome of studying?
I wrote, you found strategies to study and you paid off.
Yeah.
And the result was you got an A, right? Yeah.